Hey TPT sellers, have you ever wondered what the exact search volume is for a specific TPT keyword? Me too. So if I type in escape room, TPT will make some suggestions about popular words that are trending now. And the challenge with this is we don't really get a sense of scale. We know that escape room at the top has more search traffic than escape room ELA, but we don't know if that's one more search or if that's 1,000 more searches. But what if TPT told us? What if it showed, beside the trending keywords, the popularity score of that keyword and the exact hits that keyword has in their search database? Wouldn't that be cool? So I did some tinkering and I discovered that this information is actually loaded by TPT in the website. It's just not displayed on the front end. I'm showing you this now because I want you to know that this information exists on your browser every time you load up the auto search. So here's the popularity score. And in this case, escape room has a popularity rank of 2,531. And the exact hits is 76,162, give or take. Now, this information is constantly changing, but it gives us a relative sense of scale now. What I've learned is there's actually a huge range potentially between the first answer, escape room, with a popularity rank of 2,500, and the bottom suggested term, which is escape room ELA, which only has a popularity rank of 130. Now, the yellow shows exact hits, and I'm not entirely sure what this means yet, but I think what it's reporting is that exact phrase, escape room, as opposed to escape the room. And the reason why I say that is if you look at the bottom two examples, there's actually a very small difference between the bottom one, escape room ELA, which has a popularity rank of 130, and escape room end of year, which has a popularity rank of 133. And if you look carefully here, you'll notice that it's kind of weird because the phrase escape room end of year, the yellow exact hit score is 2,100. But if I look at the bottom one, escape room ELA, the exact hit in the search database is 11,000. And I think that discrepancy might be escape room end of year. People might type end of year escape room. And so that'll count towards the green popularity score, but it won't get counted in this yellow exact hit score, I think. But either way, it's kind of cool what I discovered, right? Now, I wish TPT would make this visible for everyone. And here's an idea I came up with, but obviously there are many ways they could do it. One way would be if you're not logged in and you type escape room, you just get the regular suggestions because that's what we would want for teacher buyers. We don't need them distracted by numbers. On the other hand, if you're logged into a seller account, it might be neat for us to be able to see these numbers. Maybe they have a setting somewhere in your account that says show popularity scores. Who knows? If you learn something new, can you hit that thumbs up button? Because I think this is an important idea. And when TPT looks at these videos and it sees, wow, so many people have liked this video, then they might start to take this idea seriously. If you want to take direct action, can you please email TPT with a feature request? And you can reach them at support@teacherspayteachers.com and just ask them, can you show us the popularity score? Because that would help us find higher search volume keywords that have lower competition. And that's important for all TPT sellers because if we know this, then we can go after underserved niches. And remember, a rising tide lifts all boats in the harbor. Being able to see the popularity score won't be limited to people who can pay for third-party keyword tools. Everyone will have access to that information. So I emailed TPT just before making this video. I'll keep you posted. Super excited. But these things take time. Change takes time. So while we wait, I've been tinkering around with Google Sheets because, I like just trying to figure out how things work. So I made an AI, artificial intelligence keyword tool. If you're in the pro community, you can start playing with it. I'd love to hear your feedback. I just go to data tools and I click on this sneak peek AI tool with the robot emoji. Now it's a little bit different from previous Google Sheets because it's got some code in an app script file. If you're in the SEOT YouTube community, I would be curious whether this is a deal breaker for you because who knows what code is hiding inside that app script. I mean, it comes down to trust. The code lets us do things that we couldn't do with just plain Google Sheets. But on the other hand, it has this scary warning here. So I don't know. But if you're comfortable with this kind of app script, it makes me wonder, is there a way that I can make the TPT data tools where you just click a button and it automatically uploads your data? That would be cool, but there are some complications too. All right, let's check out this AI tool. I'm going to click Make a Copy. Unlike my other data tools, this one requires an SEOTpreneur PRO API key. And that's just to limit access to people in the pro community. I'm going to paste in my key. Oh, like my key. Oh, never mind. Like my key. All right, yeah, you know what I mean. This trending keyword we've seen before, but if I type, for example, math, I can see that math has a popularity of 2,600, but math worksheets only has a popularity of 1,100. I'm going to go through a couple of common terms just because maybe you'll see your niche. I'm going to type English. English has a popularity of 136, which is quite low. ELL worksheets, 270. Interesting that that's not in order. Maybe they automatically always put the keyword that you search for at the top here, but that's super interesting. English as a second language is 56. I bet you if I type ELA, there'll be more results because English is probably the high school term. There you go. ELA has 446. So I might consider going for English language arts. Oh, language arts has 261. Just knowing the search volume is not enough. You have to pair that with an idea about the competition. Music, error fetching data. What does that mean? Right, so I haven't figured out everything perfectly yet. There might be some errors. It's just me testing around. If I type music again, will it work? No, error fetching data. Oh, I know what it is. I've maxed out the number of times that I can access the API key. All right, let me change that. Okay, I've increased the number of credits I have. Let's try this again. I'll type music and there you go. Music has a popularity of 437. Interesting. What if I type phonics? Ooh, phonics has a search popularity of 1,100. But again, the search volume alone doesn't tell us enough. We have to get a sense of how much competition there is. Now, what if I type something like summer? Summer has a popularity score of 5,600. I wonder what the highest popularity score is. Let's try a couple more. Alphabet. Alphabet has a popularity of 1,000 right now, but I bet you that'll change as school starts up again. What if we type back to school? Right now, popularity is 1,599. What about end of year? We can see, wow, there we go. So end of year activities has a popularity score of 19,000. Those are some big numbers in popularity. What if I type last day? Last day of school, 2,900. So end of the year has more search volume, but right now we don't have a sense of competition. The TPT Seller blog has an awesome page that they constantly update with the top searches from last year. So let's try a couple of these. Reading comprehension passages. That would have been better at the start of the term. Yeah, 1,900 is a search term. Okay. Vocabulary. Let's see here. Search term right now has a popularity of 583, but you get the idea. Knowing the popularity score doesn't tell us the exact search volume, but it tells us if this is a higher search volume term or a lower search volume term. If you think it would be cool for everyone to see the popularity score, I think that would help level the playing field. Go email Team TPT and ask for a feature request. Who knows what'll happen? The problem with just knowing the trending keywords is we don't have a sense of competition. So if I click on this next tab, it says high volume, low competition finder. I'm going to type back to school as the keyword. And what this spreadsheet now is doing is it's loading what TPT is suggesting for back to school. So I can see in terms of search volume scale, back to school has a popularity of almost 1,600 and back to school activities has 370. And that makes sense. Longer tail keywords will have less traffic, but also less competition. I showed you this last time and I can set the grade levels from all. And I want to see specifically for grade 8 because that's what I teach. And I've added a feature to save your computing power. If I go to this AI Suggest tool, which I'll explain in a bit, I actually have to turn on these features. I have a switch to turn on the ChatGPT connection. I have a switch so that the Google Sheet can access the TPT search pages. Let's play with this right now. So I made this for Enrica, but I think a lot of TPT sellers could use this too. Basically, you copy the web page link for your resource. You paste it here. So there's my link. I have to allow access to the internet. Now, nothing shows up because I've turned off the search power. So what I have to do first of all is I have to turn on the ChatGPT switch. And now it's connecting with ChatGPT. And ChatGPT has figured out, okay, based on this website link, your keywords are probably reading comprehension strategies, social emotional learning, detailed lesson plan, differentiated reading passages, and one more. Now that's based on just sending the introduction snippet. And I'm defining the introduction snippet as the first 250 characters or whatever it is. But it's not the entire product description. Maybe I think these keywords that are suggested by ChatGPT don't really reflect what my resource is. I'll send the full article. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Differentiated, systematic, and explicit instruction, reading comprehension strategy. Yeah, these don't really fit what I'm looking for. Plus, I see there's a glitch. ChatGPT is putting 2 stars instead of the quotation marks. So I'm going to stick with just the snippet. I'll turn that off. And here are some keywords. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on the search power, the import switch. And now the spreadsheet, the formulas are connecting to the internet and they're crawling the search pages. And boom, here we have a bunch of related terms sorted in order of popularity. So it's suggesting, hey, maybe social emotional learning activities is something that I want to try to go after with this. And it has a popularity of 651. If you're part of the email community, I sent out an SEOTpreneur newsletter. I'm asking for input about how many reviews are too many reviews or how many competitors are too many competitors. So go check your email. And if you're not part of the email community yet, no problem. SEOTpreneur.com and click on email and you can join up there. But what I see here, it's color-coded and it's just a range. So in terms of popularity, the best result that showed up for me was 651. And so then it's just a gradient going backwards. Likewise, for competitors, I made the keywords that have the fewest competitors show up in the color. So 520 has the fewest competitors. And then over here in blue, I have the average number of resources on the first page, the first resource, the last resource, and all of these together, they show up in color so that the lowest number, like 0 reviews here, shows up as dark blue, and then it gets lighter and lighter. On this tool, a high search volume, low competition keyword would be a line that had the green and yellow or blue beside it. So my best keyword here might be lesson plan template editable, which isn't really what I'm working on. So that doesn't really apply to me. Even though I might not change my reading activity, it kind of gives me an idea about a resource I could make. Like, oh, social emotional learning activities? Well, let's just see. It only shows me that one grade. What if I did this for middle school? The more you use it, the slower it will get because of the way it accesses the internet. And that's by design. Google has built a rate limiting feature, so you can't crawl web pages too quickly. But I can see here, so a popular keyword, the popularity score isn't sorted by grade. It's just the score for everything. But I can see in terms of competitors, yeah, the last resource has 200. That might be tough to go. This one might be interesting. Lesson plan, template, editable, preschool. That's not me. Social emotional learning coloring for middle school, right? And this might be interesting because the popularity, well, it's 67, but there's no competition. I don't know. It's something that we just play around with. Like all data tools, it's easy to get lost in the data. The goal for me is just to find an outlier or something interesting. Those of you who are curious about how this tool is generated, if I click on AI Suggest Tool Raw, I can see on the right-hand side here some helper variables. Here are the search terms in green suggested by ChatGPT. And for each of these search terms, it tries to figure out what the popular now terms are. And sometimes only one term comes back, and sometimes you get 5. It really depends on how niche your keyword is. And a TPT seller I know was giving me feedback, and these kinds of tools aren't useful for them because their niche is so specialized. And that's good to know. It's more of a general research tool to get a pulse of the land or some ideas for your niche. But being able to see search volume and comparing that with competition, that's a game changer. I'm super excited. Tomorrow I'm running my first workshop. I've recruited my daughter as an assistant. I changed the format so it's a 1 hour shorter workshop. But to keep the same value, I'm giving an optional 30 minutes to an hour afterwards with just question and answers about TPT SEO or Google SEO or keyword research or TPT blogs or store audits, that kind of stuff. So there are only 4 spots left. If you want to get the most out of the free TPT data tools, just go to SEOTpreneur.com, click on workshops, and you can find out more. What do you think about this idea about TPT showing the popularity score and the exact search volume for everyone instead of just people who can afford to pay for third-party TPT SEO tools? I think there are pros and cons. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button because this is a place where we talk about TPT SEO in a way that no one else is talking about. All right, have a great weekend. Wish me luck in my first data course. Bye-bye now.